Morning, everybody. I literally am just getting going, but I just wanted to jump on here really quick to share something. And I titled it Throwing Myself Under the Bus because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing this morning. So, yeah, just a two-part thing that just occurred, and it just kind of all dawned on me this morning. And I was just talking to myself about it, and I was like, get yourself on video and say this, quit talking to yourself. You're going to lose the momentum. And what I was thinking to myself was this thing that I just did, and I'm completely 100% guilty of it. Um, I was holding an account of myself. I was unconsciously creating, and it was occurring within this very, short period, 2 days, but it was occurring, and it occurred without me being aware of it. It was an unconscious movement, and how easily this occurs. And what I discovered is just like everything else, it occurs from within first. If it's not occurring within you, it cannot occur outside of you. So basically what this was is yesterday I made a video on my Way of Mary channel, and I'm doing this under my I Believe channel because this is personal to me. I'm throwing myself under the bus. That's why I chose this channel as opposed to the other one. But what occurred yesterday, I made a video about some frequencies that were a little bit lower that I woke up to, and how I recognized, and I'll put a link in this video in case you don't know what channel that is, and you can go check it out. But basically, it tied into this morning. I woke up, I wasn't feeling the greatest frequency yesterday or today, and a little bit before that, I noticed now in hindsight that throughout the week I was feeling something very difficult. I was feeling sadness and feeling, feelings of guilt, and like I'd done something wrong. I was really examining myself, and this was all happening in the background unconsciously. I wasn't really aware it was occurring until this morning when I woke up and I realized something. I was proposed with something, and this is very matrixy. This is very asleep people-y kind of behavior that I'm involved in every day, just being engaging this matrix, this third dimension that we're in. And I am fully engaging it. I did, I came back from dying to this earth and dying to this place as we were supposed to, with a full intention and full ability to engage it and to really have, mastered to the best of my coming to know process how to be in it and not of it, but to absolutely be in it, because this is what we're doing here. Being in it is absolutely mandatory for us to be the bridge. So I'm in this space where I'm engaging every day on purpose. And in that engagement yesterday, I recognized something, and I'm not going to give any parameters or any real details because I just feel like it's not necessary. It's the circumstance that's important. So I was presented with something. And so you have to understand that before this, I was already doing this to myself. I was already holding an account within myself that I was unconscious of, not aware that I was doing. So this information was brought to me, and I saw this entire paradigm unravel in front of me. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Because once again, I discovered that there is no way that it can, I'm sorry about my phone. Let me turn down the volume so it doesn't disrupt me anymore. There. Okay. I discovered that there's no way for any of us as divine creators for this to occur unless you're already holding this space within yourself. It cannot occur in the outer. So I was a little surprised by this when I got home last night. I didn't feel right, really didn't understand how it occurred. But then I realized I was holding an account of myself, and I didn't even know it. This situation that was presented to me was outside of me. It was basically a work-related circumstance. I was given, I was basically chewed out at work. I got something happened to me at work, and I immediately, I took the information, I handled it. I felt very conscious in it. I felt like I was handling it really well. I did everything like I would do it myself. But then I was also asked to do something that immediately I didn't feel comfortable with. And that was to keep tabs of other people and what they're doing, and then report it back so that they too could be corrected, so to speak, so we could get some paradigm of control going here, which once again, this is not negative to the circumstance at all. I totally understand that process that I was being asked to, participate in it. This is bringing this from that perspective into the spiritual thing that we do too, because I'm just as guilty of it as anyone else. If there is such a thing as guilt, I have walked in this circumstance of being caught up in these things and within my spiritual life. So let me see if I can try to make this clear. I don't want it to be all convoluted. It's coming in all kinds of directions. So basically, what I was asked to do, first of all, I was being put on account for my behavior, and then I was asked to be assistive in putting other people on an account. Okay, immediately I just didn't feel comfortable with this. But you know what happened? What got me? What I'm throwing myself under the bus for is in that moment when I was corrected, and you basically, when that happened, I adopted something because I was already holding an account of myself I wasn't aware of. So I adopted that frequency of you've done wrong and you should be in trouble for it. Okay. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. And in doing so, that's what led me to the next step of accepting, actually taking the account of myself and then working through the process of holding others to account. And jumping into that without even realizing. I could feel that it wasn't sitting right, but something in me was like, well, yeah, because this isn't right? This isn't fair. There was this little, and I didn't even recognize it. I just went through the processes, okay? I went through these processes and I followed through with it. Came home, went to bed, woke up in the wee hours this morning, and then was like, what is going on? Because I was all discombobulated in my inner kingdom. And I noticed that I wasn't, and I was listening to something beautiful, and it triggered a download into my mind. And the question was asked to me by Spirit: is there something that is occurring that you're holding an account for of yourself? Because I was feeling bad. I was feeling guilty. I felt like I was doing something wrong. And I'm like, this is not part of my paradigm typically. So I started going back into a couple of things that occurred to basically rewrite my emotional response, which I do that all the time. Go back into the past and rewrite my emotional response to it so that I can transmute that frequency in the moment. If I felt bad or I did something that created that same scenario for someone else, going back into that and looking at it from a different perspective and then changing how I would respond and letting that emotional energy from my now conscious moment change that. So then it's gone and I completely let it go and it's not a part of my moving forward in this now moment. I do it all the time. It works beautifully. Highly suggest that you try it. You can go back in the past and you can change how you responded to something by visiting it energetically and saying, this is how I choose to see it now, and then letting it go. Well, I found a couple circumstances by two people that are very, very close to my heart that can easily create this kind of, discordant energy in me because of my closeness to them. And then I realized that I started, as I'm walking through this process that I always do, it dawned on me, I was holding myself to account for something. And then it was super easy for my subconscious little ego mind, whatever you'd like to call it, to pick that up and run with it and actually be able to look at other individuals in my life, even in the space that I'm in right now. It was able to happen. But the one thing I want to bring to you today is the only way it was able to happen was because I was holding an account of myself. And yesterday, in the information I produced on my other channel, I was being bombarded. As soon as I woke up, 3 or 4 different places came into my auric field for my witnessing that were basically presenting this idea. And this is spirit family, and I'm part of that family, and I'm throwing myself under the bus in this morning because I have taken part in that myself. We are holding an account of ourselves and we don't realize it. So in the sense of trying to make things right, to try to even the playing field, to bring about some kind of balance, to do things in the correct way, if you will, we present things to people and say, if this is occurring, be aware of your responsibility in it. Responsibility. And if you're holding an account of yourself, even the tiniest little one, which I just realized I have my Way of the Mary brand up there. I need to take that off. Silly. Okay, there's this one. I don't know if I can take it off. Oh, nope. Okay. Nope, that's not going to work. I'll just leave it there. I'll put the link to the other channel. It's this little icon. Oop, other way. That's right there. I just realized I left it up. I'm totally not prepared for this morning. Anyways, back on track. That we, myself included, we can come in to a circumstance, holding ourselves to account and not realize it. But in doing so, we can succumb to others that we witness behaving in certain ways and have a desire to correct that way. And we do so innocently in the guise of saying, hey, if this is happening, you know, be aware because there's this regulation or there's this thing I hold myself to, and we're holding other people to it. We don't even realize it. I just did this. I literally was holding account of myself. And because it was unconscious creation, I picked up the helm to hold account on other people. I just did that. And that's the reason why I felt so messed up inside my kingdom. What is going on? So I backtracked all the way to where I picked that up and held an account of myself, and then began to look at others and hold an account of them, wanting them to be responsible for what they did so that it would make me feel better. Ugh, yuck. So I just wanted to share that this morning. So if anything discordant like that is occurring in your arena, if you're feeling the need to teach, to put things out for people to correct themselves with, whatever that is, go within, my loves. Because believe me, I just did it. You would not have the desire to do that in any way, shape, or form unless you've already held yourself to that standard and you're trying to correct yourself. And there's nothing to correct. There's no account that should be held. You don't have an account. We don't hold one another to account because we don't hold ourselves to account. Love yourself and love everyone as yourself. And if you are practicing things in the outer that are keeping account and instructing others how to straighten things out, you are holding yourself to an account and trying to figure out how to straighten yourself out. And there is no straightening. So anyways, I just wanted to once again throw this out live because it's the quickest way for me to do it, not for any other reason. And I see that there's a beautiful soul named Denise in the room. Good morning, Denise. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. But I just wanted to throw this out there. This is me telling you what I just took part in. And then immediately, as soon as all that rushed in, I was like, oh, and it felt so yucky and ugly. And I was like, what's going on? And then, of course, Spirit, immediately stepped in. And then I forgave myself. I said, okay, you just had this experience, probably most likely just to share it with your brothers and sisters so that they can once again go within. You just had the experience, forgive yourself. And believe me, I am going to march right over to the individuals that presented this with no judgment. I totally understand why it's being presented. I get it and I respect that. But there is no part of me that's ever going to take any part of throwing others under the bus. I just realized I was doing that to myself and it was becoming in the outer because my loves, that's the key to this whole thing. Whatever we do with right now within inner, which has always been this way, but it's being sped up. It's happening much faster, much more powerfully as we come into this new paradigm, as this new is here. What bus? My own bus, Jeffrey. Throwing myself under the bus. I'm exposing my own circumstance because it will hopefully be assistive to someone else to see themselves and for me to say that this is me and this is my testimony, so I can do this. I have no desire to throw anyone else under the bus. That's what I just did. I was taking part in that. It was retarded. But then what I did next step, once you go within and you recognize this, the very, very next step is to let yourself off of that hook. Take yourself out of that account because magically, with a K, if you will, when you do that, you will no longer be receptive to the energies that are presented to you, no matter how benevolent they may seem. They may seem like right instruction and so benevolent. If you're holding an account of yourself, someone can so slightly in their own account of themselves, and see, this isn't intentional. I'm not throwing them under the bus either. I'm exposing myself in hopes that it will help me to remember and help you to remember who you are. When we're holding that account, even the tiniest little subconscious account of ourselves, when someone presents their own account of themselves in the form of trying to teach you, because they're really talking about themselves, you will pick that up and you'll run with it. I know it because I just did it. And I'm still just like, what? But I'm grateful because I brought that to myself in order for me to experience it. And I'm grateful to be able to share it with you. So if you missed the beginning of this, if we're driving the bus, we can't. I love that, Tina. That's very good. That's conscious creation. That's awesome. I have to throw that up there. If we're driving the bus, we can't possibly be underneath it. That's hilarious and very honest and true. That's right. If you're consciously creating, you can't be under the bus. And guess what? We're all one. No one else goes under the bus either. Because ultimately, the only one you ever do throw under the bus is yourself. I was judging myself. And then I became in this place where I was just ready to sign up and judge everybody else because I felt so afflicted with my own judgment that I was looking for defense and justice. And wow, I had like a 48-hour moment of being conscious. I felt like I was conscious. So this must be a new paradigm that I'm learning to really step that game up in my consciousness, to be conscious within consciousness, to really wait. I knew I can go back and I can tell you the moment that it occurred. I knew, I felt it, but because I was holding myself to account, there was this little platform that I was able to make an unconscious movement forward. So that's why judgment just has no place in this. And we have to love one another like we love ourselves. And whether we like it or not, we will. So like Tina said, if we're not driving our bus, we're going to throw ourselves under it. And then we're going to drive around trying to collect other people to throw under it too. So anyways, I love you guys so much. And I'm grateful for this learning moment. And I have completely forgiven myself. And I will not hold myself to account. That account's been cleared. It's good. I have let myself off the hook for even having this experience. Matter of fact, I congratulate myself for doing it because I brought myself to it so that I could experience it and see it differently. And that's something so important right now, is stepping outside of yourself and looking at things and seeing them differently. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take that down. That was awesome, though. I like that. I'm going to use that. If you're driving the bus, if you're consciously creating, no one gets to go under it because you can't throw yourself. Can't throw yourself under it. Who else can't you throw under it? Your brothers and sisters, because there's no separation. That's why when you judge yourself, you're only judging yourself. And when you judge others, there's no way for you to do it unless you've already held an account of yourself. So once again, go within, go within, go within, go within. Go within. If there's any discord and anything going on, go within. Don't do anything else, because you will discover within where that's at. And then once again, the outer will become the inner, and it will not be discordant anymore. So that's just it. You're very welcome. What was it? I think it's something that we all do, Shannon. You are so on point. We all need to stop holding an account of ourselves first, and then we will be able. It's so easy. It's that whole thing, that's the plank in the eye thing. That wasn't a thing that's saying you have this big ugly thing about you, get it out of your eye, and then you can see the ugly thing in your brother and sister. No. Once you remove that judgment of yourself, you no longer see judgment anywhere else because it isn't within you. That means it's not without you. Absolutely, Tina, it's true. And it's because of the human experience we signed up to be part of. So of course we're all doing it. We signed up to do this. I just wanted to throw myself out there and throw myself under the spiritual bus, so to speak, by being naked and absolutely vulnerable with you right here on live camera. I fucked up. Oh boy. So what? That's what we're here to do. And get outside of that and look at it differently. So have a beautiful, wonderful morning. It is my first day off. I have a wonderful guest visiting me, which I'm hoping this person will do some video footage with me before they go so that I can share this person with everyone. And if not, that's fine too. But I'm going to just enjoy my day. But I literally couldn't, I haven't eaten my breakfast or anything. I literally got up, made myself as presentable as I could, as quick as I could, to get this out here and just to expose myself and to share this with you in vulnerability and just to tell you that, gosh, I love you. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this journey with all of you. And just go within, go within, go within. That's all I can tell you. And I love you. Have a beautiful day. I see you, and we will talk again soon.